Salama, welcome everyone. So I think late last night I put out a Google form about Q&As. Any questions that you had as parents of anxious teens, wanting to know, maybe your frustrations and just if I can give you any help, any support, any tips. So I've had quite a few, and I think so that the videos are not too long, the trainings are not very, too long, I'm going to do around 3 or 4 today, and gives a chance for all the others to keep those questions coming in, and then I'll get to them, right? Okay, so number 1, first question. My teen is using their anxiety as an excuse not to do their chores, and actually starts self-harming if parent is telling them or asking them or putting a bit of pressure on them. And from the background that they've given, it can get a bit serious, and I can't do this chore because it makes me anxious. I can't do this task or errand, or if you don't let me do such and such, then I'm going to self-harm. Now that is obviously really worrying, especially when it comes to self-harm. I have seen cases of that, and I have seen cases of teens who have anxiety, but it manifests as anxiety but also eczema, and then they tend to sort of scratch and make it worse because they're not happy with something that's going on or something that you've asked them to do. So it's quite interesting here. Obviously, if they're self-harming to the extent where they need medical help, of course you're going to intervene. But you kind of know your kid, and you're probably on some level with them where you can try to understand. You kind of know and understand them. But these are my thoughts. That they don't realize that when you think a thought, remember I was saying it before, when you think a thought, it creates a feeling, and then the feeling triggers an action. Okay, so if they have a thought, oh my god, I don't want to do this chore, it makes me anxious, it gives them the feeling of anxiety, and then they're like, no, their action is either they're gonna harm themselves now because when I do that, mum responds in a certain way and she says I don't have to do it, or dad, or it's if I don't want it, the feeling is I don't want to do it, it makes me feel anxious, therefore I'm going to hurt myself and maybe start scratching by eczema. So in other words, the mind is really powerful, and if they're thinking that thought and it's evoking that feeling and reaction, that if they don't think those thoughts, then that's the idea of rewiring. If you can interrupt that thought and that thought loop, then you've now interrupted the action. And I think it's to sort of say to your teen that, wow, you're very powerful here, because you're thinking a thought and you're able, and then that triggers an action. How about if you now try to change your thought pattern and your thought loop, then you have the ability now to turn down that anxiety. Because sometimes when I had teens come to me with panic attacks in my lessons, because I was a teacher, and at that time I was still teaching now and again, I said to that teen, panic more, intensify your anxiety symptoms. So I said, the breathing, the breathlessness, increase it, the shakiness of the hands, increase it, shake it out. And she did that, and obviously she felt a bit silly, but she did it. And I said, see, can you see that if you can intensify your anxiety symptoms and raise it up, then you also have the power and the ability to lower it down and turn it down. And that was pretty empowering for her, because then she realized, wow, I can do that. I can turn it up, I can turn it down. And I'll just give you an anecdote of another teen that I had, an older teen, but she would suffer from panic attacks around exam time. And when she was on her own, then the anxiety would come and the symptoms would come. But as soon as one of her classmates walked in, or she saw a student that she recognized on campus, if she was out, then she'd stop it, because she didn't want that student to see her going through a panic attack. So then I pointed out to my client and I said, can you see that you had the power to switch it up and switch it off? So to realize that your mind is very powerful, okay? At a subconscious level, it's very powerful. And there's something else I wanted to just add to that. Mind is causing a reaction in the body to respond to the thoughts. Yeah, I've said that already. And that the anxiety is playing a role. Now, at a conscious level, we can try and figure out, so what role is the anxiety playing? You know, it's got a role, function, purpose, intention. What is it doing? And you can probably try and figure it out at some point. You know, when the anxiety, it stops me from having to do the chores. You know, it stops me from having to do something that I'm not comfortable with. It's a good excuse. It's like a mask. I can hide behind this excuse. I can hide behind this reason. Now, that's not blaming your teen at all, because at the end of the day, for some reason, at that where they are right now in their life, they need it. It has a real purpose. It has a real role, which is helping them survive and helping them get out of bed and go to school and go to work and face their parents and face their siblings, family, friends, whatever. So it's not to judge, but it's to realize that there is a role there. And when I do the subconscious work, we will find out that more likely it's one of the 3 P's. 1 P is it protects them. It's protecting them from harm, protecting them from either physical harm or criticism, because when they have anxiety, it's like, you know, they don't have to put themselves in harm's way, all right? Or they're, the parent, whoever it is, or caregiver, or somebody in authority will say, well, look, she's having a panic attack. I can't ask her to do such and such, or I can't, you know, expect more of her, all right? So it takes over that pressure, you know, that pressure, performance anxiety as well. It takes away the pressure. So that's P for protection. The second P would be, it's punishing them. They have a belief deep into their subconscious that they're not worthy, they're not good enough. Good things don't happen to them, and therefore, if I'm not good and I'm not worthy, then I deserve to be punished. Because I'm not saying this is the case, but in some of the work that I've done, a sibling may have been told off or punished a lot, or beaten physically and abused verbally in front of a sibling. And then the sibling is the client that I'm working with who has anxiety. And what we found out was the role of her anxiety was to punish her, because she never got beaten, she never got sworn at, she never got criticized, so she felt like she got away with it. She felt like she got away with it. So then for her anxiety was playing that role of, it's gonna, you know, I need to punish myself so that I feel like I didn't get away with it, and I can feel some sort of, what's the word, like solidarity with her sibling, yeah? So it was like she could also, you know, feel some sort of pain, and look, I went through something too. Do you know what I mean? And this is amazing what the subconscious comes up with. And then the third P would be, which is kind of like a P, but to prioritize them, to give them attention. Because for some reason, whatever it is, the family dynamics, the roles that people play in a family, for some reason, they're not getting their needs met. And by having anxiety and having panic, it ensures that they now get the attention that they need. So there's obviously, you know, when you do the subconscious work, you get to root it out, and which is really fantastic, because, you know, you get to remove it from them forever, which is wonderful. But as parents, you know, what you could do is just at a conscious level, try to figure out, is it any one of these? You know, if it's attention that they need, give them the attention, you know, for something which is chore related, or even if it is chore related, to say, wow, you do it so well, or I love it when you take care of this, it really makes me happy, you know, whatever it is, you try and praise them as much as you can. Or I love it when you do your hair like that, it looks amazing. So that's the praise bit. The punish bit, you know, if you can as a parent, say, you know, you're really amazing, you're so worthy, you know, I feel like when I'm around you, I feel like I'm such a good mom. Just, you know, put some deposits into their self-esteem bank, you know, really build them up and obviously it has to be legit. It has to be something that you actually intentionally mean and you believe. It can't be just, you know, something that you're just making up, because they'll know, right? So choose something about your child that you actually do believe and build up their self-esteem. And then the other one, what was the other one? To protect them. Yeah, now that one is a bit difficult to do on a conscious level. You may need help, you know, from me or from another therapist to try and help them with that one. If I think of something, I'll come back, okay? But on the spot, I can't really think right now. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. Now, I didn't call out your name. I kept it anonymous. But whoever gave that, you know, if you want to DM me and you want to discuss it further, please do, or leave a comment under this video, that's no problem. If you want some clarification, go ahead. All right, so that was question number one. You know, they're using as an excuse. So I've kind of helped you understand them, and I think if you go through those 3 P's and try to undo them and do the opposite of them, then hopefully it lets your teen realize that they don't actually need the anxiety now. You can give them their needs in these 3 different ways. All right. And obviously, if you need more help, then you need to DM me and I'll help you. Right. Question number 2 was, my teen says that they're not good at exams, and they're just not good at exams, and that's why they're a grade C student. The parent knows that they didn't study much and was prioritizing their social life. So from the parent's point of view, they're like, you know, that's not good enough. They've got a grade C. And you feel as a parent, because you know your kid, you know your teen, that they could do better. And, you know, if they weren't prioritizing their social life. And in response, the teen is just saying, I'm just not good at exams. Okay, now obviously, you know, I've heard from my 24 years of experience in the classroom, I've come across stuff like this all the time. And honest to God, every kid can do amazing. And yes, there may be a grade C in maths because they're just not a maths person, but they're amazing at literacy and poetry and, you know, technology and things like that. So that's fine. I think there's a saying, isn't there, by Einstein, if you judge a fish on how good it is at flying, then it will always fail, something like that. So in other words, every teen, every child has their talents and has their skills, and it's just about finding that talent, finding that passion, and then empowering them for it. And yes, my background, I was head of science, so whatever. Now, I believe that that is a belief. All right, so that teen of yours who's saying, I'm just not an exam person, I'm not good at exams, that's a belief. And I think at subconscious level that somewhere when they were young, somehow a teacher has said, okay, that's not great, or you didn't do very good, I expect you to do better. Or they said something about that child, about your teen, that made them believe that they're actually not good at this, and that's just who they are. All right, and for them to sort of like survive the teenage years and save face in front of their friends, it's like easy just to say, oh, I'm just not a maths person, it's just not who I am. When actually maybe they haven't had a chance to be a maths person. Maybe they haven't had a chance to really sort of develop those skills because they now have a belief. And the thing is, you see, that's really powerful, because if somebody believes they're not good at something, they're not good at exams, I can't take the pressure, or I'm not good at this, or exam technique, or whatever, they now believe that about themselves. And then it's like you sort of, what's that word, where you hunt around you to make it true? Prophecy? You fulfill that prophecy. It's self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what you do. So when you believe it, then you keep looking for evidence to say, see, I told you I'm not good at exams. See, I told you I'm not good at maths. And, you know, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, you know, literally, parent, all you got to do is tell that kid, tell your teen, I believe you can do it. All your family are good at maths. I believe it's genetic. Or you can just say, I totally believe in you. I know you can do it. And, you know, and remember, I have had a little video on about a grade C, because if that grade C was because they actually worked hard, then you need to celebrate that grade, but that's not what the question is asking. Just wanted to add that in, so be careful. But remember, when we were born on this planet, we were born free, we were born confident. No child came onto this planet saying, with anxiety. No child came onto this planet suffering from depression or anxiety or OCD or anything like that. We came onto this planet believing that we were totally awesome. And we're so awesome that we can cry and raise and get the whole family to wake up because we needed to be fed, or we needed attention, or we needed to be held. We needed some comfort and have our needs met. We believed that we were worthy of getting our needs met. So remember that as a parent, and remember that that's who you were, and that's who your teen is just a couple of years ago, not so long ago. So remember that, and just give them that, fuel them that confidence, that self-belief, that, you know, empower them to be who they are, and they will be amazing, you know, because we were all born like that. We all came onto the planet and nobody had a belief that I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. Now, of course, it doesn't mean you're going to be good at everything. You know, who wants to be good at everything? It's boring. All right, I don't want to be able to fix my car and paint my walls and, you know, do the plumbing, and or even all this social media management. I don't want to do that. I want to pay someone else to do that, right? So you don't have to be good at everything, but find the skill that they're good at, empower them somehow. Because so many times when I do my hypnotherapy sessions and we've gone back to scenes in the past, and it's always a teacher or a mum or a parent, a father, someone said to them, you're not good at that, or you're no good at this, or this was rubbish, or no, that's not the right answer, you sit down, you don't know what you're doing, let me ask someone else. And it's always that, and it's like a tag, it's like a label that you put on them now, an imprint, you pressed on that impression on them, upon their self-belief, that okay, I'm just not good at that, I'm not going to try anymore, because when I try I get criticized, and then they protect themselves. So I hope I've answered that question. If you need clarification again, I've kept it anonymous, just please speak to me and let's see if we can do something about it. If this is going along, this is now, well, the video is getting a bit long. Let me see if I can squeeze one more. Okay, the question is their teen has social anxiety, finds it hard to make friends. They actually fell out of a friendship group, and now because of that, oh, I get it, right, okay, I see. So they fell out of a friendship group, and they're finding it hard to make new friends, and that's why they now have got this label that they've given themselves of social anxiety, whereas prior to this they were fine. I think that just, that makes sense, doesn't it? If you've had friendships where you kind of trusted each other, you were vulnerable with each other, and now all of a sudden you've fallen out of that group, that does make you feel vulnerable. And it also says there's a bit of background here that those friends were toxic, they were kind of point scoring, and it wasn't great. Yeah, okay. So what I would do, and in my sessions what I do, and in the audio recording, when I give them the audio recording, I install the inner cheerleader. So what you can do as yourself, dear mum or dear dad, and help your teen is, I would like you to actually talk about, do you like yourself? Because the thing is, like, Samina, I say this to myself, that Samina, I like you, Samina, you're a good person. I say that to myself whenever I'm feeling a little bit like I doubt myself, or I feel a bit overwhelmed, or I feel like I don't, I met a new group of people and they didn't quite welcome me. Because remember, you're not going to be friends with the whole world, but you do want to have, connection with a few people who get you, and you can be yourself around, and there's no, tiptoeing on eggshells around. Everyone deserves to have that. And that's where I like to install the inner cheerleader, and I get them, the client, the teen, and whoever I'm working with, to like themselves, accept their flaws, their quirks, their silly sense of humor, their loud mannerisms, whatever it is, or whether they're quiet and they're more introvert, is to accept who they are, and to actually train them to like themselves. And as a parent, you can do that for your teen. You can say, you know what, I like you, I like being with you, I like the fact that I can sit with you in silence and I don't have to talk. And honestly, that self-acceptance, and it's a journey, and everyone needs to accept themselves, and it's so powerful when you do. It really is, because when you accept yourself for who you are and you like yourself for who you are, it really doesn't matter that, I'm meeting people and they're toxic. It's like you have a bubble around you, and you feel good about it. You feel good about being on your own. You feel good about being on your own and with yourself, until you meet the right people, who will add to you, but they don't complete you. This is the thing, that you're absolutely fine on your own. And when you find love, and when you have, a good relationship with your parents, and you have friends and people that you can connect with, they add to you, but they don't complete you. And that's what I train the kids. So you, as their caregiver and the parent, I really want to give you to install that into them, that you are a good person, I like you. And what I would then say is, I want you to do some affirmations. I like to do this. I put my hand on my heart, and I want you to say this. So like, dear Sarah, I like you, Sarah, you're a good person. Okay, you're a nice person, and I like you, and I like you, and people like you. And keep saying, and get them to say that again. And there's another affirmation which is really famous by Marissa Peer, I am enough. To say, I'm enough, I'm smart enough, I'm beautiful enough, I'm funny enough, I'm talented enough, and I like me. And just to say that, and they can say that a couple of times, just to try and build that self-esteem. Because remember, friends will like them when they like themselves. Why would somebody like you if you don't even like yourself? You're always hating on yourself, and your inner thoughts are, oh, you're so ugly, or you're so fat, or you're so boring, or you're so loud, or you're so this, or you so that. If you're hating on yourself all the time, and that's your thoughts, you know, what are the things that you're saying to yourself? If that's what you're saying to yourself, then why would friends like you? They won't, would they? So you need to have a positive energy about yourself, and then believe me, you'll start attracting good people into your life that serve you, that help you, that connect with you, and open up opportunities. All right? So I hope you found that useful. You can obviously rewind it. And I do have other questions, but I'm going to have to do that another time. All right? So any questions about this, these questions that I came up with, and any clarification that you want, you can DM me, you can leave a comment after this, you can fill in another form because I left it open for a couple of days. Go for it, okay? I really hope you found it helpful, and see you soon. Bye now.